Well, this is a huge honor, Amanda. I'm such a huge fan. I've never spoken to you before. I love the
Here.
movie. Yes, congratulations to the both of you on the movie. I loved it so much. I have Jennifer's Body poster here in my home office. I'm a huge horror film buff. Congrats on this movie. The ending honestly completely shocked me. What I loved about this movie, and I know it's in the book as well, is that underneath this dark and sinister story is this powerful message of women supporting other women and standing up for women and the power of believing women. And I'm curious, Amanda, if that was something that ultimately drew you to this role of this project and playing Catherine.
Yeah, the thing is about Catherine is that there's clearly a giant arc for her, and she becomes increasingly more empowered throughout the story with a lot of help from this other woman, Justine, the woman that we all kind of want to be, the person who really understands who they are and lives truthfully. And so I love what she brings out in her, but I also just, it's really nice that there's like there really is it's a there's a lot of female empowerment that happens, and there's just a lot of ways it reflects back to just me as a human being, like how we're all kind of, there's a Catherine inside of us all, and hopefully we have this space to, and we have the understanding that we have our own strength and that we can embody that. So that's always really fun to play, because it's a lot happens in a little bit of time, and it's a safe way to explore that for yourself and for the character and for the sake of the story. So I mean, that kind
Yeah,
of thing is
no,
always
one,
attractive.
yeah, no, 100%. James, you've been a champion in working with female filmmakers. I absolutely love Greta Gerwig's Little Women. And honestly, here, how do you connect with playing George, as especially as he's unraveling in that last hour of the film? I'm just honestly, what was going on in your head as an actor as you're trying to, connect with this person?
Well, it's two. There were two sort of parts to it. One was connecting to the kind of human story, which was, I guess, easier to relate to because one has sort of places of reference and people or stories which and have heard similar stories and similar types of men. Unfortunately, we've all come across them, the kind of men who are willing to do the most horrible things in order to get what they feel they're entitled to, and some have killed their wives and done worse. So I mean, that's not much worse than that, but what's hard
I'm married. I'm married. I'm like, yeah, I guess that's the worst.
pretty much the worst. I was thinking the worst. There was anyway. There are horrible stories. I don't want to go there. But what was harder, what was more, I guess, slightly more sort of abstract and remote, was the influences of the house and the previous memories of the previous, because that's obviously contributing to his sort of unraveling, and so that was less obvious, and I guess as a result kind of more challenging and quite exciting to tap into, kind of two compounding this horrible downfall.
Yeah, well, really quick to wrap, Jennifer's Body is one of the huge reasons I got into film criticism. That film came out
Ooh.
12 years ago. I've been doing this for a decade. That film was way ahead of its time in regards to female filmmakers and writers and dialogue. And Amanda, I'm just curious, really quick, just to get the memories you've had of working on that film at that point in your career.
It was absolute chaos. It was just the I listen, that setup was really perfect. I think, playing these two very, very opposite characters being best friends. I think that the love that they shared was just
Yeah.
so I don't know, it just didn't feel like I saw that, and these people communicating the way they did and connecting the way they did, even though they were that different. It was just, there was something really beautiful about that relationship, and really heartbreaking too. And of course you've got all the humor, and you've got Karin Kusama, who's just a badass, and Diablo Cody, who's just the funniest, and she's just not afraid. They're not afraid of anything, and we just made this badass movie that just wasn't, didn't there was it didn't relate to there are no comparisons,
Yeah.
and I'm glad it found its cult following, because it was special.
I was just about to say, I hope that you appreciate the cult following of Needy and Jennifer, and I appreciate you talking about that. That movie is so special to my best friend Casey since college. So thank you for speaking on that, Amanda and James. I can't wait for fans to see this movie when it's out on Netflix on the 29th. I appreciate your time today.